Hey guys, what it is? It is your girl Cadillac. Yes, I'm Cadillac Dixon. I'm the Draw My Life prison wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice. Open, cause you got to hold your breath for justice. To see justice before all face to bleak. Yes, it's your girl Cadillac. Anyways, guys, coming through today, October the 20th, 3 a.m. I was just finna go to sleep, but I admit I was scrolling, girl. We all at times, you know, are guilty of scrolling. And I'm like, okay, I'm finna go to bed now. It's time to go to bed because I got my to-do list that never ends to do tomorrow before I return back to my workshop the next day, right? Never ending cycle. But I had a topic jump into my mind, maybe about which when that happens, that's really the Lord just downloading that into my spirit. But a topic that I wanted to do, but then I was like, I'll just do it tomorrow. But then I'm like, no, I might as well do it today because I got so much to-do list to do tomorrow, which is really now later today, that I better go ahead record this and then let it upload on my slow Wi-Fi that barely even moves overnight so that I will have a video out in the morning, well, later this same day. And I won't be tempted to record first. I'll be tempted to just get up and get this stuff done. So the thought that crossed my mind is because everyone's talking about there's not going to be any more food stamps. And I seen one video that was saying that food stamps, once they cut that, that is going to lead to more crime increasing. And the video, I guess, is kind of as a warning. It was from, well, I seen a couple of them, but this one I seen was from Jordan the Chosen One. And actually, his videos have not been crossing my algorithm lately, so I haven't even watched him in a long, long time. And I'm like, that's kind of, we think allegedly that they don't realize the repercussions of what they are doing and how it's affecting us. We think they don't realize that. But even when we don't realize it ourselves, they know. They know what they're doing, allegedly. And I think that is the result they are going for. That was the effect I was going for. You know, when you get that color in your hair that you was literally trying to do, or that for artists, that image that was in your mind that literally translate on canvas, that was the look they were going for, allegedly. So I had the thought, the holier than thou's judgment of others will cause their own judgment. So we have the pieces scattered out in a puzzle box, right? We've broken the puzzle box open and we have all these pieces and they all connect, right? And literally, it's like I've already done the puzzle, right? And I lent you the puzzles for you to put the pieces together. And I'm telling you, that piece fits right there. And you're telling me, no, it doesn't. I know what I'm doing. I know what's happening. Duh. And I'm steady telling you how these two things connect. And you're like, yeah, what the gel ever? Go ahead on, mind your own business and this and that. Or stop being a victim is a better, that's a much better phrase. That is like basically reflective of real life. Stop being a victim. But many times when you ignore the cries of a victim, you become victimized by the same thing. So let me explain it a bit. As you heard in the opening, I am Cadillac Dixon. Cadillac is my artist name, Cadillac Dixon. I am the Draw My Life prison wife. I draw pictures through art, canvas, whatever medium you want, girl, I can do that. And through words, telling you what it's like, what it's been like for my husband that has been wrongfully incarcerated for the last 23 years, how it not only affected myself, it completely changed my life, but I'm last in line. It first changed our daughter's life, then it changed my husband's life, then it changed my life. And it completely, I try to explain how much detriment it really caused, how much harm you cause to the ecosystem, right? When the ecosystem of justice, when you put innocent people in prison for crimes they did not commit, it's like allegedly messing up the real ecosystem, right? So when you do injustice with a system of justice, allegedly, it changes the justice system to the injustice system. It flips it, it changes it. So, with so many oppositions to the ecosystem of justice, we no longer allegedly have that justice system. And as I try to break it down, and as it remains my focal point in my life until it is no longer that thorn in my side, and I will strive to keep it as my focal point, because just because my family gets out of this horrible injustice system allegedly one day, I do not want to forget that there are so many suffering from it still. And there are so many that have it worse than us, though we got a bad dose of this. But there are those that have it worse. If you can even imagine, there's more worse to come, right? So as I advocate, I get hate, allegedly, because that rhymes, so I put that there. But it literally is what I get. I get hateful comments. I get good feedback as well. But the majority is hardly any feedback. And then I get, whenever I do get feedback, majority is good, because I see that there are people that are hearing and listening and paying attention and have even been affected by the same monster, that, like I like to call it. Many have seen behind that mask of keeping you safe. So I usually get I usually don't get comments, but if I do, they're usually supportive, good, uplifting. And when you have silence and you're left to judge your own content, it's refreshing when someone comes through and says, "Hey, you're getting it right." And I'm like, "For real?" Like, I literally thought I was just throwing spaghetti at the wall. I literally thought it made no sense, but then every now and then you get that hateful comment that is basically, like I said, stop being a victim, stop supporting criminals. If you could just stop committing all the crimes, then your people would not be wrongfully incarcerated, which that don't make sense because wrongful incarceration means no crime committed. But I just get a lot of, you know, I don't know. And when people take on that stance, I know everybody has their own um opinion, right? But there's still a truth. You can formulate your own opinion and I can formulate my own opinion, but somebody's right and somebody is wrong, even though it is all opinion based, right? But in the end, somebody is right. And there is a monster. I've seen behind that mask allegedly. And you just feel like it's not one because you haven't seen it. Just like I was talking to my nephew about this. He was saying that he was talking about being scared and he sometimes, is unable to sleep because he think about monsters. You know how the kids always thought about monsters under the bed. And I'm like, I don't know. I be thinking kids sometimes can see what we choose not to see or whatever. And I was like, oh, they always did that in the scary movies where the kid is saying, I can't go to sleep because there's something under my bed. And they're telling their parent that, look, I can't sleep like this. Baby, I need to get in your bed over there. But the parents is like, no, everything's okay. No, you're just overreacting. Just calm down. You just played a little bit too many video games. You watched the wrong movie. And the child is telling you, look, there's something under my freaking goddamn bed. Would you go? Could you open the door and look? That monster's in the closet. There's someone in there with the mask, allegedly. And it is not until that person unexpectedly sees the monster for themselves. But the child tried to warn them. It's a little too late. It's right in your face now. So said all that to say, because I like to take y'all the way around the world and back. It's your girl Cadillac. Before I get to my point, girl, but that's just something about me, right? But I believe it's connected. Yes. Lack of being able to feed yourself allegedly is going to make you desperate to do whatever. Those that are desperate to do whatever, they got a place for them, right? And they're building bigger, much bigger places, much bigger facilities. It's already in the works. Even though we are allegedly the land of mass incarceration, somehow we still need more prison beds, right? Allegedly. So people can't eat. They gonna find a way to eat. I had a rap for that. People talk about the things that Kim do, but they don't know what hell she been through. Let's say your baby was hungry and had no food. You sure you wouldn't be tempted to steal it for him? Let's say you just lost your job, couldn't pay your rent. Sure, you wouldn't be tempted to go and strip. See, one slide down that poker be a hot meal. Or one more lap dance could pay a couple bills. The situation is a mother. Yeah, I know, cause I'm also doing it by myself. And every time I try to do the right thing, it's like I always end up catching hell. I'm sympathizing with this mother. Yeah, I'm taking time to look at every single fact. And even though she might not always do the right thing, she always got good intentions. Yeah, she girl Cadillac. But when forced, we as humans go into survival mode, allegedly. And in survival mode, you do whatever you gotta do to survive, allegedly. So when people are allegedly being forced into survival mode, right? They don't look at that alleged thing that's forcing them to, go into fight or flight, right? They don't even consider that. They just consider the action of you in that fight or flight mode. And once you go into that mode, and it's whatever, because you got to feed your family, you end up in jail or prison where you didn't care what happened to people because you weren't a criminal, right? So you didn't care what was happening allegedly to human beings because you felt as though they were beneath you because those are human beings that committed crimes and crime is beneath you, right? And that is until you are in many of those people that committed crimes allegedly. First, y'all don't want to hear this, but many of them are innocent, so they committed no crimes. So we should be letting them off the hook, but we don't. We got to keep them on that hook. That means you stay on the hook too, because you kept that person on that hook. That justice you gave them, baby, that's the justice coming back to you. You served up your own justice. You made your own bed hard. Them beds is hard up in prison. Boy. You sure made your own bed hard. I kept telling y'all need to reform this system. Now, the thing is, have we did criminal justice reform, prison reform? If you did get locked up because allegedly you're only trying to feed your family, you wouldn't be going into that same detrimental system. You would be going into a real system that is truly there to rehabilitate you. But because we can't get past your judgments of humans that are not beneath you, they're humans just like you. Not everybody's innocent. Duh, I know that. But not everybody's guilty. And crime is on a spectrum. That's the one thing nobody wants to, they think it's all or nothing. Crime is on a spectrum. They can easily make what you do a crime, allegedly, and then you will be a criminal because you do said crime. Like I give the example, which shouldn't even be considered a crime allegedly, but car lifing. They're trying to criminalize car lifing, having to sleep in your car. Against the law. Why should that be against the law? You're making it allegedly too hard and impossible almost to have a roof over your head. So now it becomes criminal activity to not have a roof, allegedly. You wouldn't stop this monster in its track. And I kept telling you, there's a monster under the bed. Look, behind the closet door. And you told me I was crazy. I was just supporting criminals. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. So, you know what? When they're putting you in that bed that you never thought you would be in, and you look up and you find yourself in that bed away from your family because you were trying to feed your family, because allegedly they made it so almost impossible to feed your family. And you look up and you find yourself there. Somebody's going to tell you to not do the crime if you cannot do the time. All right, guys. So just think about the judgment that you're passing on others. We really shouldn't even be, we're the last to be judging others because we don't know how to judge correctly. There's man's justice and then there's God's justice, which is directly opposite. The justice system, this is man's justice. God's justice looks totally different from this. All right, it's your girl Cadillac.